If there was ever a kingdom that we could call the relaxing kingdom, I imagine most people would probably have Seaside towards the top of their list when it comes to any percent. But once you start digging into the specifics, you start to realize that it really just isn't a break at all. If you take the time and start mapping out all the movement in this kingdom, it really does become just as technical as the rest. So, without wasting too much time, why don't we just jump right in? But of course, before we do, if you've been enjoying these improved videos, consider subscribing. We still have a few left to come, and beyond that, even more videos planned. Also, if you want to have a conversation about Seaside or any other kingdom in Odyssey, head on over to my Twitch channel and pop me a question. We can talk about it. Alrighty, Seaside Kingdom is a quick kingdom, and knocking it out should be no real issue as long as you know ahead of time what you need to achieve. During the cutscenes, buffer is spin pound. You have to do it during the sections of the cutscene where you can also skip the cutscene. So it can be a little difficult to fit a buffer in here while also trying to skip a cutscene. But once you do buffer, skip the cutscene, then as soon as you gain control of Mario, which once again is before you can even see him, spin pound directly towards the camera, or holding directly down on the analog stick. Then center the camera with a bumper button and roll boost twice, directly towards the wall. Aim to arrive at the wall slightly to the left of this bush, then once you're directly in front of the wall, roll cancel into it, then jump with the Cappy return jump. At the peak of the jump, throw out and hold Cappy towards the right, then dive into him. Wall jump off this side wall, then throw Cappy towards this platform up above and dive. You can either buffer a spin pound or turn around a backflip. I want to explicitly note here that I am fully aware this isn't the fastest way to do this movement, but it's much easier than the triple jump into a Shireen bounce that the top boys do, and this movement has served me well for honestly over a year, and I definitely recommend learning it. Regardless of what you choose to do, wait until the peak of Mario's respective jump, then cap dive towards the wall. You can then either wall jump or cap stall on this side wall, then at the peak of Mario's wall jump, throw Cappy towards the moon and dive, then roll boost and long jump into the moon. Once collected, buffer spin pound, then instantly spin pound down left on your analog stick, center the camera, and simply fall through the air and curve around the ledge to head towards the pipe. Simply land on the floor and run towards the pipe. You won't get a stun animation here, you're not high enough. Then once you're close to the pipe, roll into it. Once inside and you regain control of Mario, hold towards the right on your analog stick, but also slightly up. Not too much, but just a smidge. Then jump and dive. Making sure to hold your trigger buttons so when you land, you'll roll. Then as you're rolling, buffer a spin pound, then come out of the roll above the moon and instantly spin pound to activate it. Once you've grabbed that moon, throw Cappy towards the left and instantly dive. Then roll boost into the pipe. Once you're out of the pipe and regain control of Mario, instantly jump and throw Cappy towards the platform on the right. Then once you've bounced off of Cappy, dive again and roll boost once on the platform. Then as you're rolling, begin to adjust your camera so it's facing towards the hole in the wall. Then as Mario, curve towards the opening before jumping into it. The aim is to have Mario reach the max height of his jump in roughly the same position as the roof, then cap diving towards the wall and wall jumping off the back wall, then cap throwing towards the right and diving. Wait until you're at the edge of the platform, then long jump. Then you have two options really. Either cap dive and dive into the moon, or almost instantly up throw, then dive into Cappy and dive again, and grab the moon that way. Doing the strat like this with an up throw requires good positioning so Cappy doesn't get stuck on the roof, but with a little bit of practice, isn't impossible to start pulling off consistently. This doesn't save an insane amount of time, so choosing to omit it won't hurt you a whole lot in the long run. Once you've grabbed the moon, begin falling towards the left. Then once you're below the roof, cap dive, and then dive towards the left. Then, as you run over the edge, curve Mario back towards the camera so you simply start falling over the ledge. Then once you've cleared the roof, dive out and begin rolling towards the camera, but a little bit more towards the left. Then center the camera. Begin rolling directly for the far corner of this section of floor under the water. Then once you've roll boosted over this last hill, begin a triple jump. Making use of short hops if you need to so you don't overshoot and touch the ocean part of the water as it will kill your momentum. Then during the triple jump, vector slightly towards the right. Just as you touch the water, go neutral on the analog stick. Then as soon as Mario has begun sinking, hold forward again, swim for a brief second, then throw Cappy forward. And if you're far enough back, wait for him to fully extend, then shake to home Cappy into the Cheep Cheep. During the capture animation of the Cheep Cheep, turn your camera to face the direction we're about to head, then press Y and B to dash forward as the fish. While you're swimming as the fish, you want to be maintaining a steady stream of dashes in. You don't have to spam them. They by themselves don't make you go any faster when traveling in a straight line, but they do keep you at your overall top speed when done periodically, and they do help when turning corners and such. Now, let's get something out of the way. A lot of the time save you can cash in on in Seaside comes down to fish movement and the lines you take as the fish. Taking more direct lines, tight corners, and hugging walls are all things that seem small and pointless by themselves, but can easily cost tens of seconds. The easiest way to improve your lines and learn to take better ones is honestly to watch more skilled players than yourself, and try and emulate what they're doing. I know that isn't overly helpful and descriptive, but hopefully this video can show itself as a starting point for you to branch out to better runners. So, while swimming towards the chest moon, we want to be maintaining straight, direct lines. I like to duck slightly once I get close to this fish to just absolutely avoid bonking, then tightly turn the corner. While staying high enough to not get hit by the sea bacon, stay close to the wall before turning into the little hole and then shake to spin and open the chest. You may have to dip slightly if you're too high, but once you grab the moon, press Y and B and head out of the little section you're in towards the shortcut moon. If you had to slightly dip, you can tap B while doing this to get above the sea bacon again, then making sure to cut this corner as tight as you can without bonking, then making a direct line for the shortcut moon. Once you're past the sea bacon, you can start slowly nudging yourself down as you're dashing so you're low enough to enter the tunnel. This tunnel is incredibly sketchy. The way to optimally go through here is to stick as close to the walls as you can while turning the corners. But that obviously is really difficult, as the Cheep Cheep's hitbox is quite large and it is fairly easy to bonk. But once you go in, head straight ahead, then veer right, then stick close to the left wall as you turn the corner. Grab the moon, then continue to hug the left wall. If you want to be a tiny fraction more optimal here, you can also slightly raise yourself closer to the roof. Then as you exit the tunnel, dash up and towards the left. Then continue swimming towards up left on your analog stick, adjust your camera so you can see what you're doing, then head straight for the mound and spawn the moon by shaking as you approach it. Wait for it to spawn in, then swim up and directly into it. Also, while you're approaching this moon, move your camera so that it's facing towards Dory, your next moon, to stop you from having to fiddle with it afterwards. Once you've collected the moon, continue swimming along the roof and directly towards Dory. Once you're past the roof, dash and raise yourself slightly so you're high enough to grab the moon as you pass by. Continue swimming straight ahead. Once you're over the top of the first mound, shake, then dash yourself towards the second one and activate it as you curve towards the last mound, all the while turning your camera by holding your analog stick to the left. Once you're over the last mound, shake, just like the ones before, then swim directly for the center mound and shake to activate it. Then similar to before, wait for the moon to spawn in, then swim directly into the moon. The reason we adjusted our camera this way is so that it's already ready and prepared to perform fish clip. Swim straight ahead and towards this section in the water where it dips down the furthest. As you're dashing towards it, lower yourself so you're level with the floor. Then, as you approach the section where you'll be performing the clip, dash into it one last time and hold Y so the nose of the fish digs down into the floor. Then, uncapture the fish and begin swimming backwards. Throw Cappy in front of the fish, swim slightly further back, then shake to home Cappy into the fish. You need to make sure you're far enough away from the fish, or instead of clipping, you'll just warp backwards once you recapture it. Once you do successfully capture it, instantly dash forwards and hold Y to dig the fish's nose into the ground again, and if done properly, you should now be clipping through the floor. Once you clip, start heading towards down left on your analog stick, then recenter the camera with a bumper button. As you begin to head towards the trench moon, you can alternate between swimming straight and swimming down before finally coming down towards the moon parallel to the wall. Approaching the moon like this limits the possibility that you clip back in bounds. As you pass by the moon, assuming you're close enough to the wall, shake your controller and the fish's hitbox should extend enough to grab the moon. If you dash as the fish just before you shake to grab the moon, the fish will continue its downward momentum after grabbing the moon, allowing you to simply hold your analog stick towards the up left and before just pressing Y and B again to spin towards the loading zone. This is just a little optimization to make sure you don't go too far downwards. Once you enter the Sphinx treasure room, hold up on the analog stick, and as you gain control of Mario, allow him to ever so briefly move forward before inputting a spin throw. Then mash the B button 3 to 4 times before diving, or swimming in this case, towards the moon, grabbing it as it falls in its animation. After it's collected, open your map with the minus button, hold down on your right and left analog sticks to both zoom out on the map and head your cursor towards the Odyssey, then simply warp to the Odyssey, throw Cappy at the globe, and that's it. We're out of here. Our peaceful, brief visit to this kingdom is now over, and the looming threat of Luncheon Kingdom hangs over us. If you have any questions about Seaside, or any kingdoms in Odyssey, feel free to jump on over to my Twitch channel, where you can ask me live, and we can chat about it. Also, if you enjoyed our little deep dive into Seaside Kingdom, there's still plenty more to come from this channel, so do consider subscribing. But with all that out of the way, gamers, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.